Hello guys, welcome to the vlog. In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about my real experience living in Moscow. I will tell you the good, the bad, and things that shocked me while I've been here for 2 years. I'm local, I'm Russian, but I'm not from Moscow. I'm from Vladivostok. It's a very eastern Russian city near to China. Also, I have experience living outside of Russia for several years. I used to live in Asia. In China, I spent mostly my days in Shanghai. Also, I used to live in Macau, a little bit in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and in Bali. Firstly, what shocked me the most is that how Moscow changed in the past several years. First time I visited Moscow more than 10 years ago during my university years, and I didn't like Moscow at all. For me, it was just very huge, gray and Soviet city. I never liked Moscow, honestly, and I never thought I would be living here. I always prefer St. Petersburg more than Moscow because St. Petersburg is just more European looking town and Moscow was just very proper Russian Soviet town. But honestly, they changed Moscow a lot. Now when I returned to Russia and went to Moscow, I just completely fell in love with it, and now I think that it is the really best city in Russia. You know, they changed streets a lot, they removed crazy outside advertising. They made style of every sign on the street on the same style design. They removed crazy shops and they built so many different cute public places, new parks, new infrastructure. They building metro as crazy. So it really makes a difference. When I returned to Russia, I went to my hometown Vladivostok for half a year and then I traveled to Moscow for 2 weeks. I completely fell in love with it and I decided, oh yeah, I want to live here because now I really like it here. All of this time people were telling me that, oh, Moscow is not Russia and stuff like that. And guys, I completely can agree with you because I'm not from Moscow. I know the realities of life in Russia. I grew up in a typical hood with these gray panel houses and I know the struggle of life, okay? So I completely understand what Russia is. And Moscow is not really Russia. You really feel the difference when you just crossing the border with Moscow and Moscow like border town like Moscow Oblast. Yes, you already feel like, okay, it's not that nice anymore. But it is what it is. At least we have this fancy, crazy, nice town, right? It's a capital. It should be like this. It should show the best side of our country, and I like it here. As a local Russian, yes, I would prefer that they spend money not only improving Moscow, but improving other places as well. Russia is very centralized country and all big corporations and many businesses locate here in the capital, so they pay very huge taxes and also government throw money to Moscow to create this high world-class city. I really was shocked how digitalized everything is and how everything works online, from robots on the street to metros that you pay with your face in. And another thing in Moscow, they created a website called mos.ru, website only for fancy Moscow people. So when you go to this website, you can use all government services in one website. For example, you want to get a local doctor's appointment in Moscow, you can do everything there. It's a bit different from Gosuslugi website. Gosuslugi site for Russia is like covers all Russia, but mos.ru is only for Moscow people. Even we have a Russian joke about Moscow mayor is that Russian people say "Как похорошела Москва при Собянине." Moscow mayor is Sobyanin and he's already for a long time a mayor, and it's translated as how good Moscow becomes with Sobyanin. I can really feel improvement because they improved traffic in Moscow a lot, because in the last 2 years I don't remember staying in very crazy traffic in the city center of Moscow. They really cleaned the roads here. I was really impressed with a health system because best doctors located in Moscow. You can find any hospitals in any direction, in any disease you can treat here. Like if you want to get best treatment for any disease like cancer or something difficult, you better go to Moscow doctors. And they improved clinics a lot. They renovate a lot of clinics, and childhood clinics and adult clinics and big hospitals. Right now, Moscow experience with a healthcare is more polite, you know, it's not like a Soviet vibes anymore when you go to doctor and they would just treat you very badly. But now in Moscow, kind of people in hospitals feel more happy, maybe because higher salaries, I don't know. So they would treat you quite well. The doctors were not rude, they were quite polite and always friendly. So I have very good experience with Moscow healthcare. Moscow has best transportation infrastructure as well, like this electric river trams, modern trams on the road, modern electro buses, metro opening almost every year, new stations or new lines even. Yeah, I want to see that in other Russian towns, not only in Moscow. But I wouldn't say that other Russian towns never changes, or they changing, but slowly than Moscow. Moscow is just developing like crazy. Another big shocking thing for me was how big this place is and how big the population is. I can compare it to living in China, because I stayed in Shanghai. It's like very huge town, 25 million people. And Moscow, very similar experience. In metro, always like crowded. Okay, maybe China feels still more people than Russia, of course, but this Moscow experience, especially living in a downtown, you're always surrounded with people. It's never quiet. Moscow never sleeps, basically. Any public holidays, any good exhibition, some events, you will be surrounded by crowds and crowds, because yeah, you cannot really enjoy a solitude life here. You're always surrounded by crowds. In one hand, it's good. You can find very talented people here, any people you can imagine, and famous people live here, like everyone lives here. But at the same time, these big crowds, it can feel lonely, because these people, they're coming from different regions and from very different backgrounds in life. So it's harder here to find your people. The people who will feel like, not like your family, like your relatives, your people with the same ground. I don't know how to explain it in English. I hope you know what I mean. It's when you move into the town and you find a better connection with people from your hometown. You know what I mean? Because these people are crazy. They are very different, because people moving to Moscow from all over Russia, and even foreign people from different countries, from post-USSR countries. So yeah, I think capital life can be lonely, because all of these people coming here to hustle and bustle, and then they always busy, and usually people stay in one little circle of your friends, if you lucky to find friends here, and you never cross roads with anyone else. Or you can actually make friends, but like you need to make effort to do so, because these people, they are very different level of lifestyle. Everyone from really poor people to very rich people, and they're going in a certain circle, and you cannot just go inside some group of people if you don't belong there. Anyways, I hope you understand what I mean. And with this inequality of people's life, because it shocked me how many wealthy people here in Russia we have, and wealthy people prefer to live in Moscow. Many people, not all, but many wealthy people live in Moscow. And you see all these people buying crazy rich apartments and driving very crazy rich cars, like driving these Geländewagens and stuff, and living in luxury apartment, and you always surrounded by all sorts of people, and you start feeling like you're not enough. Also, Moscow feels like a big amusement park where every day something happens. New event or some new restaurant opening or new festivals, new concert, so many parks, so many activities, so many things to do every day. So you cannot be at all of these places, and you have so many opportunities that you feel like you're missing out something. There is a word called FOMO, fear of missing out. Because you're surrounded of so much entertainment, you feel like you need to do everything or do nothing at all. So sometimes you feel overwhelmed and you just better stay at home because you don't want to do anything anymore. When you're surrounded by so many activities, and all of these smart, talented, crazy people, you start to compare yourself with others. But maybe those people, they are from different background. Maybe they have very wealthy parents and wealthy family, and they are from Moscow, so they have a different wealth situation. Maybe you only came to Moscow your first year here. Of course, you didn't achieve anything, but you still look at these people and you start to compare yourself with them and feel like, oh no, by age of 30 I didn't achieve anything, like it's my fault, I need to hustle more than I am. You feel like you're not enough here sometimes. But well, it's only your perception. If you're enough with yourself, of course you will be fine in any surroundings. It's just how you feel inside yourself. What I realize, of course, Moscow is not a fancy facade, but actually Moscow is a very hard life. Honestly, I feel like only 5% of these nice wealthy people who afford to live without working non-stop, they are just top people, top 5%. They spend this luxury time driving around fancy cars and sitting in restaurants. But actually 95 simple people, they are just here to work hard. You know, typical life of Moscow average person is working 5-6 days a week, spending 1.5 hours to commute from Moscow Oblast, because they cannot afford live inside Moscow. They have to live outskirts because rent is crazy inside Moscow. So they live far away. They spend 1.5 hours going to work by 9 a.m. and then sit in the office until 6 and going back some way, having dinner and going to sleep. And this is life for 5 or 6 days a week. Then one day off, they maybe enjoy some glimpse of Moscow, going to maybe outside, going to city center, and that's it. And then this work cycle repeats again. Of course, I understand that it's just a life in the capital. It's not only a Moscow problem. I think it's the same in any big, rich city, any capital. If you take like London or like Beijing, same style. Many people come here to hustle and they pretend to have life actually, but they have very little life. But the life is more like working non-stop. They really keep this city going. These cashiers from Petorachka, the delivery drivers, the guys who work in metro, waking up at 5 a.m. to be as a job to open metro. These are very simple people, and these are the majority of the life here. Who can enjoy Moscow? They are tourists who come here for maybe 1-2 weeks, spending a great time, going around places non-stop, like enjoy parks and cultural activities, spend more money in shopping malls, you know. And guys, I feel so privileged that I have not normal job 9 to 5, you know, because I do YouTube and my job is not standard. I can like manage my time. Yes, it's take a lot of time, but at the same time I can feel my activities, my daily vlog. And yeah, I spend a lot of time doing computer stuff, but still, it's not like I need to commute 1.5 hours a day somewhere. So I feel very privileged because when I moved to Moscow 2 years ago, I started to relying only for my YouTube income, and it was a very crazy step for me. Like, I don't know even how I was able to move to the capital and survive only with doing YouTube. Yeah, I was earning less than now, but still somehow I managed to do it, and I don't have any other job. So thank you so much, guys, for following me on my Moscow adventures and like supporting my job and sending me donations. This is basically how I was able to live here in the capital. And I think if I would be doing just normal job as anyone else, I don't think my experience in Moscow would be the same as me just here doing YouTube. What I didn't expect about Moscow, and this is what shocked me, is the local climate. I didn't expect the climate of the winter here. I really like Moscow summers because summer is amazing. Temperature is good, around plus 25, with nice sunny days with nice clouds and blue sky, you know. Everything is green, everything is blossoming. From May to September is just perfect time in Moscow, but other half of the year is a real struggle because it's almost the same weather every day. It's very dark and gloomy and just gray sky. Sometimes sunny days, but maybe just a few a month, like literally. Because I'm from Vladivostok and we have a different climate there. Vladivostok is one of the sunniest cities in Russia, whereas Moscow is one of the gloomiest cities in Russia, which is crazy. I didn't know that. They say that like, London has a bad, miserable weather. And I was thinking like London and Great Britain has such weather, but no. When I moved to this part of Russia, I really realized like it's so like rainy and gray, so it makes you feel depressed a little bit. Especially in December, it's getting really dark. We have around 6 or 7 hours of sunlight. Usually it gets lighter 9 a.m. and sun is going down at after 3 p.m. So literally you use your lights in your apartment every time. But Russia is a big country. We have even regions with a polar nights when they don't have sun at all. But I thought Moscow would be just normal climate, but I just realized that no, it's actually half of the year. People like to go outside of Moscow, go to warm destinations because sometimes it's just hard. Moscow doesn't have that much snow as Siberia. If you imagine magical white winter town, no. Snow in Moscow will melt. They use strong chemicals on the roads. They clean roads for cars. So usually snow would be really dirty and it always melts on the ground. So usually it's just not very beautiful. Usually it's just like grumpy. What I felt in Moscow is that groceries are not expensive here compared to other places. And overall, if we compared what you can earn in Moscow, the salary level and spending level, I think it's a good quality of life here because, for example, if we speak about Vladivostok, our salaries not as high as Moscow, but our groceries more expensive. And in Moscow, we have many different supermarkets. I think because of competitions, they have to make prices lower. If we compare Moscow to any other cities, I think it will win for quality of life because of health, because of food, because of services, because of places, because of salaries. And that's why many people in Russia dream about moving to Moscow, but they know that they have to work hard, but still they choose this lifestyle other than living somewhere else. But now actually there is a different trend. It's a backward trend for people who tired of Moscow, who tired of this life, and it's opposite. Maybe they work remotely and they choose to live in small towns or even moving to the villages. I forgot to add something about Moscow people. It actually annoys me too much because Moscow people are like too privileged. If you're Moscow people, you already has everything. You can complain about my road was not washed with shampoo today, or oh, they repairing this road again this year. Look at this, we have such problems. Or oh, my ultra mega latte was not with a right milk today, you know? You need to give me like milk from a cow from the moon. I remember the word. They very spoiled. They spoiled of everything because they have best of everything, and when they go somewhere to the simple place in Russia, they already like shocked. They say like, oh my god, how people can live like this? I want to come back fast to Moscow, because they don't know the real life, guys. This special sort of Moscow people you can see on their faces. I don't know how to explain the difference, guys, but they feel like this. Very spoiled, going around, wearing fashionable clothes, and drinking matcha latte or something. And sometimes these people annoys me because I really love true Russian people, you know, like some simplicity. For example, when I went to Vorkuta, I really like people in Vorkuta because like they're surviving the hardcore nature of Russia. They're not these soy latte Moscow people, you know. So why am I leaving Moscow? I really believe that Moscow is the best place in Russia, but why am I living here? I don't know, guys. I think I'm a traveler. I think my life is to move somewhere. I like a change in my life because when I was younger, after university, I dreamed about traveling a lot and I dreamed about moving to Asia, and I did it. I achieved my goal. I wanted to move to Japan, but then I switched my plan and went to China, and then moved to different places in China and travel countries. So when I stay in one place for more than 1.5 years, I feel like boring. I feel like not boring, like you still have fun stuff to do, but I feel like I need to start something new. I really like finishing something and start something different and feel myself in different environments and achieving something else and trying myself in different situations and learning something new, because when you're moving cities, moving countries, oh, it's such an upgrade for your personality, and I just like to be different all the time. I had so much inspiration about Moscow content because when I came to Russia, everything was so new for me. I feel like, oh my god, I want to film that and this, and so much content you can film in Moscow. But then now after 2 years, I need this new creative spark, new creative direction, and now I feel that inspiration can be anywhere else. I have inspiration to go other places, maybe more content about my region, about Far East, about my town. And now I have a car. It's already in Vladivostok, by the way. It's ready. So when I have a car, I can drive somewhere and travel more and feel more content about Russia, not only about Moscow, but even though I'm moving out, still Moscow will be my base. If I want, I can anytime come back here. What do you guys think? Was it interesting for you to listen? Would you follow me next on my crazy Russian adventures? If so, you can subscribe to my channel because 2026 is going to be interesting. No more Moscow, it's going to be other content, guys. Be ready, click subscribes, send videos to your friends, and if you really like Lisa the Russian and Misha the Comrade, you can send us tiny little dollars underneath this video. You can be supporter here on YouTube in sponsorship, or you can subscribe to Patreon as well. Thank you so much, guys, for listening until the very end, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.